Coco Gauff won her second round on Arthur Ashe during a night session against a very tricky opponent, Tatiana Maria, 6-4, 6-0. The scoreline looks solid. However, if you watch the match, you know that Coco was making a lot of mistakes in that first set. But it's fair to say that Tatiana Maria is a nightmare opponent, slicing a lot of balls, not giving a lot of pace, and in a high pressure circumstance like that, it is not surprising that a lot of players, including Coco, had a little bit of problems with Maria. However, when Coco won that first set, she freed up her game, played really well, won that second set very convincingly, 6-0. However, during that first set, Coco had troubles with her second serve. She committed 7 double faults. And whether that's a bad stat or not depends on the intention of the server. So someone like Sharapova, who often would hit 2 first serves, making 7 double faults per set, not a problem at all. However, Coco was not going for her second serve. She was trying to make them, kick them in other words, and she was still making a lot of mistakes. So in that case, 7 double faults per set is way too much. Coco and her team understand that this is a problem, and right after the match, they went on the practice court and worked on the serve. So in today's video, I'm going to show you the problem that Coco has on her second serve, and this might be something that you're suffering from as well. So this video could be very helpful to you. Coco has one of the best serves in the world, and in my opinion, she has the chance to break the record for the fastest serve of all time. Coco is one of the few players in the top 10 who does not have a racket drop leak. For you guys that don't know what a racket drop leak is, I've made several videos on that subject, and I highly recommend that you check them out. So Coco unloads extremely well on her serve with good timing. She has good fundamentals. Her toss arm technique is unorthodox. However, there are other players with a bent arm when they toss the ball up, such as Karlovic and Nadal. So this is difficult for a lot of recreational players, but for someone that's been doing this type of toss from day one, this is not that big of a problem. A lot of people identify Coco's serve issues as a toss problem. It is actually not a toss problem. Coco has a good toss. So for you to understand what I'm about to tell you, we have to talk about serve fundamentals. So when it comes to the first serve, whether you're hitting it flat or slice, you want to toss that ball well inside the baseline, and Coco does do that. When it comes to the kick serve, you also want to toss the ball in front of the baseline. Why? Because you're going to be leaning forward. Now, you're not going to toss it as far possibly as your flat and your slice serve, but still you want to make sure that your second serve toss is inside the court. Toss location is also important. The toss on the kick serve has to be at least at 12 o'clock or even further to the left if we're talking about a right-handed player. And Coco does really well on her toss. She tosses the ball in the correct location. However, when it comes to the contact point on the flat, the slice, and the kick, we're going to see some fundamental differences. So on the flat and the slice serve, the contact needs to be established in front of the head. You can take a look at a picture right here, one of the best servers on the WTA Tour, Linda Noskova. She makes contact in front of her head on her flat serve. Now, when it comes to the kick serve, we are not going to make contact in front of our head. We're going to make contact right on top of our head. And something else that we're not going to do is we're not going to rotate, because we want to get an advantageous angle of the racket face at the moment of contact. So the flat and the slice serve have torso rotation and a contact that's further in front. The kick serve has a limited amount of torso rotation. The body is more sideways at the moment of contact, and therefore the contact is established more on top of the head. Now, I told you that we're tossing the ball still inside the court, so there's still a leaning portion even on the kick serve. Players lean forward, and because they're sideways, naturally they end up making contact right on top of their head. Picture right here of Ben Shelton hitting a kick serve. He is sideways at the moment of contact. You can clearly see that the ball is being struck right on top of his head, and he does throw the ball very far into the court on his flat and the slice, and he still throws it inside the court even on his kick. So what is Coco's problem? Well, it's actually very simple. Take another look at the Ben Shelton picture here, and now take a look at a picture of Coco's kick serve. And you can clearly see that the contact is being established way behind her head. Now, the reason why you don't want to make contact way behind your head on your kick serve is that generally you have less power here. So there's more of a chance for deceleration, net errors on the serve, and so on. Also, generally you have less feel for the ball the further away from your head you strike it. So the tricky part about correcting this issue is not to fix the toss, because the issue lies in Coco's body movement. So unfortunately, Coco rotates on her kick serve, just like she does on the flat and the slice serve. And because she's tossing the ball in front and rotating forward, naturally that contact ends up behind her head. So in addition to Coco rotating on her kick serve, she also brings the upper body forward a little too soon in the motion and gets her body in front of the ball a little too much. This is true for all serves, but a easy fix and a solution to your kick serve problems is that when it comes to the kick serve, you have to stay more sideways. Again, take a look at Ben Shelton, one of the greatest servers in the world, and I'm not singling him out. Take a look at any kick serve. You're going to see a position of the upper body at the moment of contact that's to the side. You're going to see the tip of the shoes to the side. The body has to stay sideways. Naturally, when the ball is thrown in front of the court and the body is slightly leaning forward, contact is going to be established right on top of the head. And from there, we have better feel for the ball. And more importantly, we have more power and there are less chances of deceleration and making frustrating double faults. Now, one thing that's super important, and I do want you to understand this, Coco is an amazing player. She won the US Open last year, one of the best players in the world, currently the best American player, period. So you ask yourself, Nick, how in the world is it possible that someone that good can have a mistake on their second serve? The way you want to look at it is the following. First of all, Coco has all the fundamentals that you need to have on the serve. So that's number one. She has one small technical element that's deficient. On top of that, Coco has learned over the years to get a lot of serves in the wrong way, basically. So she's gotten really good hitting great second serve despite this technical deficiency. This is not something that I see generally at the recreational level or at the junior level. It is there where a mistake like this has far greater negative consequences, and it is of the utmost importance to correct it. However, throughout Coco's career, this second serve problem has shown up here and there, and it would make a lot of sense even for somebody as great as Coco to continually try to optimize their serve technique.